Hello friends, welcome back. So this is a very interesting episode, I believe, where we'll see a very fundamentals of React development, which is started in one of our earlier tutorials where we have seen how to predict images based on image URL, and we have used the Google's Teachable Machine there. We trained our model, TensorFlow JS model, and with different images, of course, and we tried to predict with a different unknown image URL, and we are successfully able to predict the image. For example, in this screen, you can see it's an iPhone 11 image, and the prediction says also the same. It's a probability of 99%. But anyways, so that tutorial, if you haven't seen yet, definitely I'll request and recommend to take a look this episode as well. You can see it now or maybe later on after this video. But to get a full stack development experience, of course, now my focus would be to create the front end part, and this web application actually built using React.js, which is a library and built by Facebook. It's an interesting open source library, and a lot of good concepts are there behind the scene that will be in action to make this application development quite easier, and very nice and rich experience that is there that we'll see. And what I would say, like different component, what are the different props, how to do a state management, how to pass values from one component to another component. So those kind of basic fundamental things I'll try to cover. And also as you know probably that React.js application runs in 3000 port as a default, whereas I have set my backend service, which is actually built up using Node.js, which we built in the previous tutorial. Somewhere in the I button you can see that link, and also I have given in the description box. You can take a look from there as well. So that is actually running in the 5000 port. So well, I'll make a fetch request from this backend service with this image URL. Obviously there will be some problem called course problem, which is cross origin resource sharing. So how to resolve it? So there are many ways we can resolve that, and one of the options just I'll show in my demonstration. And how to run both the backend and front end service together using npm command. So that also I'll try to demonstrate. So a lot of good things probably you'll see in this episode. So thanks for watching till the end. So in case you're coming to my channel for the first time and not yet subscribe my channel yet, so definitely my request would be to subscribe it, and don't forget to set the bell icon, because it will intimate you and notify you the moment I'll upload a new content in my channel. So let's head over to the understanding the fundamental design concepts, how we'll be creating the different components, and followed by the actual developments to build this application. Okay, so stay tuned till the end. Let's see. Okay, before we go to the actual development, I would first recommend you to install one extension for your browser, and this is nothing but React developer tools. So if you have once you have this extension installed, what will happen, you will see this kind of components. If it doesn't appear immediately, you can just click on this extension button, double greater than sign, and you will see kind of profiler and components. Two things will start appearing for your React development. You need to select components, and you'll see how this application been built with different components very easily with this extension. So as you can see, this is the main component or the app component, and under the which this app component, it has something called image prediction dashboard, which is another component. There are certain properties or props it talks about. It has certain hooks or state, and rendered by app. Of course, app is its parent component. That's what it's showing. Perfect. So that is the image prediction dashboard is one component this application is having inside. Now image prediction component is having another component called search box, and you can see it has a different props or properties. And search box parent component is again the image prediction dashboard. Perfect. Let's little bit go down, and you see this is some component called preview component. Preview component has its own properties, and its parent component is again image prediction dashboard, while preview component does have two grid columns, The first grid column contains the image, and second grid column contains a button and another component, and this component is called show prediction. So that's the reason show prediction does have parent component showing as preview, which is quite obvious, and it has its own properties or props. So with these props, basically we can pass value from component to component. Now here, interesting thing in React is I can pass value only from the parent component to the child component, means one way, but it doesn't work in both ways, means from child to parent I cannot pass the value. But then how this value can be modified, if the value of the parent component is modified in the child component, how the value will be reflected in the parent component. And it's basically done using a concept, as we know for other language, kind of a pass by reference. Not exactly, but to a certain extent is work like that. So we will having a state management will do using use state as kind of a concept that will see while do the development. And we'll have basically every state or variable state. Here I'm just for the simplicity I'm calling it as a variable. Every variable will have a function to manipulate the variable value. So we have to pass either the variable or we can pass the function. Okay, and based on that we can manipulate the value within the child component. And if I manipulate or alter the value within the child component using a function, it eventually reflects the value in the parent component, because it's kind of a pass by reference. Think in that concept. I think that we can easily correlate how it works probably. So that pretty much, I think you can understood how this component been built. Now the exact same thing will be building up in another project which doesn't have the front-end client yet created. It's only having the backend server, which is the Node.js application. So let's go to that project now. Now this application, or the project rather, I would say, it has only the backend Node.js application. So let's quickly install the React React part. So for that, the command should be npx and then create hyphen react hyphen app. I'm giving the application folder name as client, and I'm using use hyphen npm. So this add-on use npm will ensure that this application will be created using Node Package Manager. Otherwise, it will take yarn by default. So if we click on enter, it will just start downloading it. By the way, it will take certain time, so I'll just pause the video and I'll resume once it's complete. So looks like this application been created successfully, and I can see all the artifacts under source and everything. Now to run this application, simple command npm start. So let's get into the client folder first and then run npm start, and it will open an application in port 3000. Okay, awesome. So the React logo is actually rotating, and this is the default React UI application. So now what we have to do, we have to just tune, or maybe we have to make it tailored the way we want. Different component and things will be changing. Okay, so to start with, what I'll do first, I'll go to let's say index.js, and I'll do little modifications over here. So let's create a folder first. Let's go to source and create a folder. So that as a convention, all the folder names will be starting as kind of a small letters. But if I create any files, I mean kind of components, then that convention will be the first letter will be capital. Okay, it will be starting with capital. So let's start the folder name as an app, and app should have another folder called layout. So this way we have to just orchestrate our files, and I would like to put my app.js inside the layout folder. Okay, that's great. And pretty interesting, you see the index.js automatically get adjusted with this app folder app file. I mean the folder path, it auto adjusted. So first I'll change this the extension as JSX, means JavaScript XML, and we'll see the logo gets changed automatically. So if it doesn't appear in your project, probably you need to install one extension, and that is called something like Metallic, I believe. Lots of extension actually added. So material themes icon, no, sorry, this one. Yeah, this one, material icon theme. So that's probably the extension you need to use, and the corresponding icon you can see in your in the project with associated files. That's cool. So next what I'll do, I'll just create certain tuning I'll just do. So root element, the variable, I'm just calling a document get element by id, and I'll just call it as root. So that's the first thing. Second thing would be I'll be creating a function name as render, and the function will be starting with react react dom.render, and we'll just render app, and under root element, that's it, and we'll be just call this function called render. Okay, so now what I need to do, one thing more, and that is I need to delete this. So I need to delete it, and what I'll do, I'll be using hot module concept, something like if module.hot is existing, we'll be using something like module.hot.accepted, and here I'll just type the file called app layout app.jsx, and I need an arrow function, and I'll just do set timeout render. So this hot module will help me to refresh the page for the particular portion which is actually getting modified and should be visible to the user. It's not the entire page should be refreshed. So that's the model.hot features that should be used. Let's see if there is any change. There is a problem like layout app.jsx error, no such file. So let's quickly fix this out. So it is something like app dot, I think jsx, and app.css something can't resolve app.css. So app.css also I'd like to put into layout itself, and I believe I don't need app.css actually. Okay, let's delete this, I don't need it. Okay, and app.css also I don't need it. So I need only app.jsx, app.test files I don't need it, index I need it, setup test.js I don't need it. So let's our application is now damaged, no problem, we'll just fix it soon. Let's see what needs to be done now. So if I just go over here, it says logo doesn't found because this app.jsx is now searching for this logo and it doesn't have this. No problem, we'll fix it soon. So now what we'll do, like the application will not be working now, so let's make some more adjustments. Let's remove this too because we're not going to display any logo, React logo. And this function also we don't need. So something like this I'll use. And here I'll just show return. So app will basically return something like, you know, the image prediction dashboard that we need to create now. So under the layout, what I'll do, I'll create another folder, and that will be the features. Okay. So features folder will contain certain files. The first one will be searchbox.jsx. Let's add a few more files. Let's say preview.jsx, and another file can be show prediction. So just whatever we discussed and understood the different components. So those components I'm just planning to create under features folder. And under the layout folder, I'll be creating one file called image prediction dashboard. Okay. So what will happen under image prediction? So let's close everything else. Called import. Import React from React. Okay. And then you can just write something called, or I can do something called constant image prediction dashboard, a function and this function, I'm just using an arrow function, and it will render or rather return something, not sure at this moment. We'll create it later. But interestingly, you have to do one more thing: export default and image prediction. Okay, so this is what we need to do. Fine. So now in app.js, what we'll have to do is, like, we have to return basically image prediction. Okay, so by doing so, it will be auto imported as you have seen. That's it. So my return is over, and the return will basically show image prediction. So obviously it doesn't have anything at this moment, so that's okay. I think we can take this way also, right? So that's app will basically render image prediction. So what we'll do, under the features section, we have a search box. So from the image prediction, what we have a plan. We have to basically return something like search box. Okay, I think, okay, we don't have, oh sorry, it's my bad. I have to add it up here. Better I can just copy from this one. It will be faster if I just do that way. Go to search box and paste it like that. So I have to just change this one as search box. I can do so this is our search box, and image prediction will contain this search box. Okay, that's it. So it will return the search box. Go to the search box folder, and what we are going to return over here is we need to return the something like a grid. But what happened to this grids and all will be using with the semantic UI React. So it's already installed in my case as a globally. So but what you have to do, like we need to uh, use the semantic UI React and semantic UI CSS. You need to install if it doesn't have in your case. So mean to say you can just do npm install and then semantic UI React and semantic UI CSS. So there's two things you need to install, as it's already installed in my case, so I'm not reinstalling it. And interesting point would be this semantic UI React you have to attach with your package, with your index.js. Something over here, you need to import semantic UI, and from there you have to put semantic min CSS. I think semantic dot min CSS. Okay, these things you need to import as well in under index.js. So now grid I want to use, and this grid will have something called grid column, and I need to use some width as 16, let's say. Okay, and under this grid we need to add the input file. So I just want to copy from my existing project. So let's paste it. So I've just copied from my existing one. So it's an input, and of course this input we need to add over here. Okay, input URL, it's not there, that's fine, we'll see later. Handle, let's change this one, instead of message change it as handle change. It's an on-click event handler. So let's do something like here as constant function, and you can put event as e, on-click event. And what we need to do, we need to add handle clear event handler as well. So let's add this one. You can use arrow function as well, but I'm just using normal handle clear. So now the search will be basically input field, and what we'll do, we'll basically check now the output, and some problem probably, let's see. Okay, we have just closed it, probably we need to rerun this one, npm start, and see what's happening. So it will call app.js. So it's having some problem because it doesn't find. So why we can just quickly check to index.js and change it to, it should be semantic UI CSS, not React. Semantic means CSS. Let's save it and let's go there, refresh once. So the class name, let's put something over here, because I have already put that class. So it will having this color changed. That's great. So also, other than that button, we need to add the show prediction things as well. So show prediction means, again, I have to import React, constant show prediction, and let's add a blank or empty element for the time being. So export default show prediction. It's great. So what you have to do, go to preview, and here I need to add show prediction. So it gets auto imported. Cool. And go to show prediction. What exactly we need to render? We need to render certain segments. So let's add a segment. Okay, so under this segment you'll be adding some item. Okay, I just don't want to keep typing, so let's test from my original project. So I'm just adding up over here. Forget for the time being this kind of content and those things. We'll see later on what we can do with this. And probably we have a problem over here, item. So item not added, so let's add the item. Should be fine now. So let's refresh. Awesome. So now I have this another preview prediction section been also being shown now. So what you have to do, we have to just the kind of components are all created. Well, I believe a lot of things still pending, like value value assignment, value movement rate in components, and also predict image. So those kind of things will be now we'll have to focus now. So let's do certain value assignment. So I'm going to first with image prediction, the main one. And what I'll do, I'll be using something called useState for the state management from React. And what I'll do, I'll use constant with square bracket, and I'll just add search state, let's say, because search state will contain the search input value URL string, and I'm adding a function called set search state. So this function will be responsible for updating the search state value. I'll use useState. That's it. So by doing this, I have my search states added. So I'll just call this search state over here. I'll pass this one. So I'm just setting the property as set search state as a property for my component search box, which the property becomes a set search state. So what I have to do, I have to click on F12, go to set search state, and over here I have to just extract this set search state over here and handle change. When I'll make some value assignment to my search field, handle change function will be handler will be triggered. So there I'll just call this one, and I'll basically put the value or take the value from target. I think it should be target dot value. Okay, so I'll just take the value from this event handler, and I'll just add the value to my search state property, and that will be done by this set search state function. At the same time, I also need to add one more thing, and that is something I have to do. Like here also, I need to use state, and I will be using constant input URL. So that is my input URL field. Set input URL. It's a function. Use state default value space, let's say. And input URL, I need to also set using the same value. Okay, means e dot target dot value. Okay, so now input URL automatically get filled in by calling this function. So this input URL now is having the value that user has entered as an input. So now it is good to assign as a value to this search field. That's great, right? So what we can do now, let's go here, put inspect, and let's go to component. Okay, what happened? I don't see that. Yeah, so components appearing. So start state is having a set start state property as we have assigned. So the value over here I can just take from this image, copy image address, and I can put it over here. The moment I add, immediately you see the state gets updated, means the value of this input URL been updated with the same image that I've entered. I got it. Now let's go to the preview pane. Pane we have to go click on it 12. So this image source need to have this value, right? Need to have this same image URL. So for that, what we have to do from search box means the parent is image prediction. So image prediction means this start state I have to pass, because start state is already being updated using the set start state function under this search box that you have seen. So here we'll just add this one. So that means value I'm just passing. So the same thing I'll be just adding over here as a property within a curly braces. That's great. And here I just add this one. Cool, done. So if I go and start state is not defined. Okay, why this is being called? Oh, my bad. Okay, not this one. It's my bad. I just mistakenly placed this one over here. I am supposed to add it inside this. So now it is available. If I go, yeah, so the image what I paste, or maybe let's take the image that trying. Paste, yep. So now automatically the value now is being passed from the search component to my image preview pen component. That's awesome. So what next? The next is the predict image button click will now hit the backend server fetch request. So let's go to our button on handle predict. It's here. So first thing is I have to I'm just copying the code from my original project. Maybe I may not be watching me typing all the way. So let's paste it over here, and I'll just explain what I'm doing. So let's save it. I think some error happened. That's okay, we'll fix it. So let's, I think it's not needed. You state it's okay. I think use state is sufficient. I don't need this one. Yep. So this is my first predicted data and set predicted data. You know the concept now, how the value and the functions to be declared to handle the state of my predicted data, which I'll just get by a fetch call, and then that value I need to just render, right? So I need some sort of a predicted data. Okay, so now thing is probably in this function, this one has to be put beforehand. Yep. And this one I don't need. Yep. That's cool. So use state is not here so far, so let's add use state here. So this is fine. Then I'm just using this handle predict. So I have a start state in my preview. So I'm just checking start state is no record, nothing results comes, and I'm returning out. I'm just creating a data payload where I'll just pass my start state, which is nothing but image URL. Under image URL key value. I'm just using mode as force for the time being. I just don't want to use that. Or maybe, okay, fine, let it be. Okay. So we know my backend is running on 5000 port, and this is my classify as you know, probably like in index.js, this is my backend Node.js application, and have this image that classifies my path for my post operations. So obviously that way I'm just calling request options. I have just built, passing this data as my payload. Data just now you have seen this image URL. The rest of the things I'm just making a response check of 200, not 200 means something problem. Otherwise I'm just building up my the predicted data using this set predicted data function, and I'm creating a JSON with product and probability, which I'll just use for my rendering. And this one's I don't have it yet. We'll do later. I believe rest should be fine. Okay, so now predicted data, somehow we are not using directly. That's okay. But this predicted data, we have to send it to my show prediction. Okay, because that is gonna use this predicted data. So just copy this predicted data, and I have a below something called show prediction, right? So I'm just using this one. I'm creating a property predicted data for my show prediction component. Click on F12, go inside and put over here under curly brace predicted data. So this predicted data now I'll have to use dot product, because we know this is a value. Another predicted data dot score, sorry, not score, probability. Right? So let's go here. It may, okay, some problem created with the predicted data. It should not be like this. Okay, it should not be within quotation, right? So let's actually add this one to preview, and here under use state you add the JSON called product and probability. Okay, I have to put a comma. Great. So now it is all good, it seems. So let's again copy this image address and put it over here. It's coming up this image. So if I click on this predict image, ideally it should make a prediction and it should see the data, but it's not making a prediction. Let's see where the problem is now. And the problem is that error connection refused, means that URL is not working, the backend URL. So go to network and click on this predict image, classify, and you see it's failed. Quite natural, because the backend service is not actually running. So the backend service to run, I have to basically, I may create a new terminal like plus, and I can create a new terminal, and I can add npm I think, what is that, the package.json I have to see, not this package, rather this other one. Here I have added node index start, so that is npm run start command, right? So if I just do this, it will also opening in listening mode. And if I just now make a prediction, it should show the data. Some debugger gets stuck somewhere. Yeah, it's showing iPhone 11 with probability 99%. So now you see that I have to maintain two different terminal. To one is for the backend service and another for the front end. There is another technique through which we can just do it together, and for that I need to use a concurrently as a npm package that I need to install. So let's stop this first and close it, stop this as well. Now what I have to do, I have to install series space, okay, npm install concurrently. See, if I just install it, it will start downloading. So concurrently means I can run two different commands together. Okay, so let's get it installed. It will be a little bit faster, I bet. And once it's installed, what I have to do now, close all, and I have to go to package.json again. Currently I have only start command, and this start command is only for my backend service. So what we'll do, let's change it to server. So I know there's a backend server. I want to do something called client now, and the client I'll be using something called npm npm start, and I have to use minus minus prefix with client. Okay, so that means if I just run npm run client, it will eventually start this client. So let's quickly test it. Npm run client. Okay, so from this now it will actually hit the client, means the React.js application will restart. So it's opening in a new browser, and it should show the same screen that just now we have seen. That's cool, right? So now we are actually able to run this client or React app from this terminal itself. Okay, what next we have to do? I'm just going to do something called div, and now I'll be using something called concurrently. Then I'll be just doing something called npm start server. Okay, so this is one thing. So this one concurrently div will basically start for the server, and then let me copy this again, followed by the client. right? So two things have just added. What I have to do, let's stop it now. So now what I'm doing, npm run, and this time Dave, what will happen? It will trigger both server and client together. Let's see. Yeah, so concurrently npm start server, and there's some problem. Let me see. Yeah, my bad. It should be npm run, not start. Okay, let's save it and rerun this command, and hopefully this time it will run both server and client together. So let's see. Yeah, it's doing. So it will start both the server as well the client. Yep, starting. Awesome. So let's close this one as well, and this one is basically our front end. It's getting loaded. Cool. Front end get loaded. At the same time, the backend is also working. So localhost 5000, and voila, you see the backend service, which is my Node.js application, is also up and running. So obviously, if I just search this one, I don't know, I probably it will predict properly because my model is not trained with a huge amount of data. So let's see if I just pass the same URL. Voila, it's working perfectly. I think I didn't copy the URL at the first time. Well, yeah, it's now coming. Predict image, iPhone 11, 99% probability. Awesome. So now this is what we could successfully build the front end UI now. I hope like a lot of things you got to know. Okay, one more important thing probably I missed out, and that is in my index.js for the backend service. What I did was I used this course. I installed basically course and the simple command npm install course. So and the same thing I have used over here, record. Okay, and I just told like, hey, this course option, I just saying like if the call is coming from this localhost 3000, option success status should be 200, means it should not create a hiccup saying like, hey, it's from unknown server, it's not on the same server, so it's a course issue. So this my backend service should accommodate a call from this 3000 port. So that's the thing I have added. I believe now it is all clear, like this, how the course issue been resolved, how concurrently two different services I can run together at the same time or simultaneously. And yeah, well, it's working pretty well overall. Thanks for watching. I think it was informative to you, and soon we'll connect with you in a different episode or different context. Take care. Goodbye.